If you're looking for a cool match of Quake, this one will not be a buzzkill because, of course, it is going to be coollerz versus k1llsen. This one should be a pumped-up affair.
Yeah, completely. We've got the two people from the championship match at QuakeCon, and they are meeting again over here to decide who is going to be the stronger of the two. Obviously, the big match at QuakeCon went over into k1llsen's favor. Very dominantly, I've got to say. It was an unbelievable fashion that he managed to beat coollerz. Curious if he can do something similar again, or if coollerz's got something to say.
I really kind of am unsure how I feel like this one's going to go. I feel like this is basically just going to be like a full-on bloodlust level scrap, right? Where they're going into this to basically just give it their all, because it's more of kind of bragging rights in terms of, we know both of these players are just mechanically sick. They are unreal at the game. So it's going to provide us for really just fireworks no matter what happens. Yeah. But I'm just curious to see how it goes down when we just let both of these wild animals free.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, in terms of the styles that we're going to see, I'll start with coollerz. I guess he's if base was someone who's been inspired in terms of defensively taking these plays, coollerz's kind of rewritten the books of Quake Duel, and so to some degree in the earlier pages of history. He's got fantastic defensive plays. His aim is great. He really excels on LAN, I would say, the most. And he's also got some rough, and don't mean that positively, rocket jumps.
Okay.
This is one thing he has to watch out for. But he's just got immense discipline, and that's something that's often been successful for him. And it's not just the discipline as well, it's the fact that you know, in a poker, you're creating the read, you've given off that or that impression.
Like your tell that you can...
So his tell is that he's constantly being defensive. So he can just suddenly be aggressive. It can feel so spontaneous for the enemy.
That's quite crazy. That's a very interesting concept to have, especially like in a game like Quake, where it kind of is basically...
Yeah.
It's one of those where it's similar kind of like in a mental games like Dota or like CS, where if you kind of have a mental edge on your opponent, you can show you've got a lot of formality, and you're not going to basically break quite easily. Yeah. But you've also, as you said, got backup plans, got potentially tells that reveal how you work. There's so many nuances that I feel like obviously potentially go unnoticed to the levels of, the real deep levels that Quake has.
And I think that's a huge part of it in Duel, is that you are constantly trying to give your opponent an image. You know that everything that they see and hear from you, that's going to be added up to the tell that the read that they're going to have on you. And being able to do something that they can't predict can suddenly become incredibly difficult, especially if you've got these patterns of play, and at the professional level, players are studying each other properly. And right, what can I actually say? What kind of habits do they fall into when they start reading the player in an X way? And it becomes incredibly deep. And I think that's being able to break into that level of thought is, I think, the only reason we don't see more and more names crop up, because you've got to put that hard work in, you've got to build that experience. It's absolutely possible. We see from players like Wenger, who is newer to the scene, that he can do it. But there's a grind on the way there.
Oh yeah, it's different because Quake is one of those where, in terms of the raw gameplay, it's very simple to understand, but it is incredibly hard to master, right? Like it's literally just raw skill, but there's also the intelligence factor behind it in the way you actually have to have a very heightened sort of understanding of game sense. Prediction needs to be key. Map awareness. If we take sort of Tox for an example, right? And the fact basically he could literally walk around a map without having to look behind him, just literally backpedaling the whole way, and it looked like he wouldn't bump into anything.
Yeah.
Again, what we saw before there in that matchup that we just witnessed, in the fact that the movement from both of the players, with Garpy and everyone, it was just so nicely executed that it just looks on a whole nother level. It looks so easy, but then obviously if someone was to jump in there themselves, you quickly realize it's a whole different kettle of fish. It's nowhere near as easy, and something that is going to be hard and going to be ferocious, of course, is the matchup we do have coming up next. Though.
I mean, I spent a lot of time talking about coollerz, of course, but k1llsen on the other side, I mean, it's a different level of discipline. Both of them are incredibly disciplined player, but it's all about optimizations for k1llsen. He plays an incredibly neutral game. He has an incredibly strong defensive game, aggressive game. He's like an all-rounder, but it's like you expect someone who's a jack of all trades to be master of none, right?
Yes.
But he's master of all of them. So it just ends up being... I don't really know... I've been trying to think of this. How do I summarize k1llsen? How do I try and give a snapshot to people of what to expect from him? He's just really good at everything. He's the champion at the moment. He won QuakeCon. He's so damn good.
You know, you've got demigods. He is your ordinary demi-guy. You know, he's excellent, but in the body of a normal human that just turns up, absolutely wrecks face. It's all flawless. It's just very nicely executed across the board.
No, exactly. And I think really... I don't know. He's had a long career in Quake. He's won a couple of events now, and is suddenly everything's coming together for him. Because it used to be a case when he'd get into the late stages of a tournament, suddenly those optimizations would crumble a little bit. Maybe he'd take a risk that he wasn't necessarily originally planning that he would take, or that in any other type of game or online game or whatever, he would make a more optimized approach. But pressure would get to him, and now it's got to a point where he's over the pressure. And that's really scary for all other competitors because, I mean, it's not even someone a year ago I thought I'd necessarily would be touting is this good. But k1llsen is, you know, he's suddenly kind of taken not just Europe, but the whole global scene by storm.
Yeah, he has. I mean, especially, you know, you've got the name there, the cheater. He's done it fairly fast as well, in terms of obviously the quick meteoric rise, basically, to put himself into such a power play position now. He's looking like he could actually be unstoppable, which... It's interesting, right? Because we now get into this matchup where I'm curious to see if the picks and bans could affect anything. So let's delve into that and have more of a microscopic look on this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm totally unaware what maps they're playing, so we'll see. Looks like Blood Covenant is going to be first, actually. We've got... wait, actually, it is Blood Covenant first.
We've rused you. It's Garpy and Venga.
There is BG. I think the champions are right, though.
Yeah?
I think so. So I'm sure, like we saw before the break, that we're going over to Blood Covenant. We haven't seen that yet.
Yes, that's true. You did mention that.
We don't have Veil or anything like that yet, so we'll be back with the pictures in a moment. But Blood Covenant is happening.
Hypothesize for me. That's a hard word to say. How do English?
Well, I mean, they're both so good at the map. It does depend down on the champion matchups, which I'm not 100% sure we saw there was accurate. I would normally expect k1llsen to be happy with kind of Visor or Nyx or something along those lines. coollerz got a fairly broad map pool, but he does like to pick a Galena on Blood Covenant, which seems counterintuitive. It's a very open map, and you like to have something that's it's got some sneaky corners you can put some toasters, which, I mean, I guess it does, but not maybe as thematically as you would see elsewhere. And I would see this is going to be rail heavy, and I think if k1llsen's hitting the shots that he's expected to, he's often known as Railson, then he should be winning this one.
So here's what I'm curious about then. Obviously, we put a lot of stock into k1llsen there. We've given a good explanation to who he is. For me, coollerz was always a player that I was incredibly interested in. Someone that I think has pulled out a lot of stops and obviously always been quite impressive in his overall play style. Definitely very dominant when he gets onto the battlefield. Let's see how coollerz is going to be affected as we do now have the updated picks and bans.
Hey, here we go. Oh, sorry. I mean, I may have stolen it from before, but we do get Nyx. Nyx is actually what k1llsen goes with, and Nyx is my favorite champion on Blood Covenant. I love it, so that is also going to play into my bias of thinking that k1llsen will win the first map. But Visor's also very good. It's kind of like a semi-counter to Nyx, but it really depends on the timings of abilities used. It's interesting to see coollerz going with Anarchy in the second map, because again, I see a bit like Sparty. I see him as a master of VQ3, and when he goes into Anarchy, I just think kind of underwhelming sometimes. But look, you got a BJ pick.
I know, I was going to say, I'm getting to see it. My BJ pick's coming out there from k1llsen. Let's see how good his BJs are, if he can really do some damage here.
Precisely. And then right at the end, we got Awoken. Really cool. Like right at the third map, we still get some VQ3s in. You usually end up getting a lot of medium champions banned out. As you can see, Galena got banned, Visor got banned. But then you've got the double jump of Doom, and then the range. Oh, I've just seen there's a double Visor, so we'll look into that. But yeah, Ranger on Awoken, that I think coollerz can win Awoken, but I think that k1llsen will probably win the first two.
For me, I think this has actually provided us with the most interesting heroes that I wanted to see going into this. The champion picks we have here are the ones that I kind of wanted to see in terms of like overall playstyle. I wanted to see Doom coming out. I was curious about BJ, obviously, just in terms of how he's actually played these days compared to like when I had seen him like a long time ago now, to see how viable he is, especially on k1llsen, because you kind of getting it in, like, if there's a way to demonstrate it in a pristine, really nice package, he's going to be the one to give it to you, right? Like, it's pretty good, especially versus coollerz. I don't think I could ask him much more.
I think the funny thing is with BJ, though, is, and players are obviously going to execute it very well,
Yeah.
but I think for us mere mortals, when you use dual wield, you think, great, I'm going to do way more damage with the lightning gun. All of a sudden, your whole body starts shaking, and you just
heart's pounding.
Yeah, and you're like, I've got dual, I got so much power available at my fingertips, and you just suddenly hit not even half as good lightning gun as you would normally, and it's just, I'm hoping that we can get a good demonstration from k1llsen that this is how you actually do it.
It's rough, right? I mean, you hit that ult and you go full Sith Lord, like straight Emperor Palpatine in of just limited power.
Yeah, precisely. And then you kind of just get to your own head, and it's just
It corrupts you.
Yeah,
It's too much.
And that's why I don't really play BJ, because I just psych myself out. I really like the character, but I'm like, I just do it so little justice that I might as well just quit out. Just forfeit this map, and I'll play another champion on the next one.
That's rough. Hopefully we get to see some depth-defying moments from it, though. I feel like it probably would serve us with definitely some hype, because by and large, we've had more than enough hype already given to us today. So
Yes.
with the picks we've actually been given here, getting into that once this one gets underway, I feel like we're strapped in for a big boy game.
Yeah, I mean, if I was going to... Actually, we didn't really do predictions for the last one. No, I think we didn't do so much for the second game that we had. But what's you? Let me put you on the spot.
On the spot right now
Yeah,
for this going into
right
it.
here, right now.
You know what? I'm going to be a little bit of devil's advocate. I'm going to be quite an outrageous man, obviously being quite citrusy. This one could leave a sour taste, actually. But honestly, I'm going to say that coollerz able to take this in a 2-1 fashion. I feel like he might overthrow purely just because I feel like coollerz going to come into it and just go for it. Literally no holes barred. And it looks like, talking of no holes barred, we are underway already as things kick off with some high-octane connections. k1llsen is already low, but luckily he's able to readjust and grab himself some armor, Zoo.
Yeah, not looking too bad anymore. Going to look for some extra bit of damage. Finds him going up the top. Still sees the Mega. Trying to keep a vision of that Mega as much as he can. Oh, he almost actually finds him. And just to quickly counter you, but, you know, I hope you're right, but...
You going for the k1llsen train?
I think k1llsen 2-1 or 3-0.
All right. I respect that. That's fair enough.
But happy to be proved wrong.
Let's see if it will happen then, as k1llsen, he is being tagged up early on. Of course, the response looking nice from coollerz, as he's fast on his toes, looking more like he is going to be ferocious and hot right now rather than cold, as he wants to try and do the damage, although coollerz will go down, fragged out by k1llsen with the opening pick.
I think coollerz misjudged the amount of time that the Ghost Ward could last for, and also his route towards the heavy armor, because it actually worked out perfectly for k1llsen. He just gets himself this next one. Incredibly close affair, and look how perfect he is at reading off the spawn what coollerz doing and then executing on the shots, which is obviously the hard part of it.
Ooh, I guess the tag across spots him out as well. That is just a brutal follow-up. The fact he has actually landed that, it's pretty mind-boggling in itself. Good movement as well to execute himself across, but it's not the movement that matters. It's the unseen rocket that lands flawlessly. All right, k1llsen, he's giving it.
That was hot. That's what I want to see from k1llsen. And his like, I mean, Jason Captain will never shut up about it, but he thinks that it's Rocketson and not Railson, and this is where the argument kind of can come into play, because k1llsen's rockets are also so damn good. Ghostwalk used it at a great time. He's done so much damage to coollerz. He might be able to go in for another, but he's going to respect the fact that he could be critically wounded if it goes wrong.
The execution is always just so lovely to witness at this point. Graceful movement around the map as well, as he does have a commanding lead at this point, nearly with a wild turnaround rail there. That would have been a complete showstopper if he actually landed it, but he is being battled down, losing an awful lot of stock as he's being forced back. coollerz, although, reaches the same point, and they have to face a bit of a stalemate. They don't want to make a mistake. He nearly caught him on the cross, though.
I don't really know why coollerz was looking forward when I'm pretty sure I saw a rocket coming from the blood pool, so...
Yeah.
It was unusual. k1llsen's got to be very respectful here. I don't think coollerz actually got the rail, so he doesn't have to be that respectful, but nails can suddenly do a lot of damage to you.
Just firing out, hoping to land some of those shots. He knows he's low, and he's getting them even lower, but the pickup on the health is going to be good to at least put himself into a nice position. Already trying to pre-fire and set himself up with a rocket. A rapid switch around to the lightning gun. Advanced movement as well, constantly grabbing those pickups. The second they come in, both of them are so low, but coollerz will finally get a kill.
Very nice work from him. I thought actually k1llsen might have pulled that off somehow. He got such a good start to the fight. k1llsen coming back gets the rocket to machine gun. coollerz had to get out of there. I don't know why he stuck around so long. He's getting 1 for every 4 at the moment. This is not a favorable ratio.
Yeah, has the high ground. He isn't going to be using it against this Padawan right now. I said re-aggress on the floor as he will be trying to get himself in close proximity. The cross comes rapidly by as k1llsen is just bounding around. A nice shot coming through as well to lower the HP pool there on k1llsen, leaving him just on 54. Spots it onto the shield, lands it on the drop. He's still getting these tags off, but he is going to take his time now, Zoo.
The issue a lot of the time is that k1llsen's been so late to pick up the rail that it's very difficult for him to challenge in these long-range fights. k1llsen's always there, super attentive, rail, core part of his gameplay, he's going to get it. He hasn't really been punished for picking up the rail, and k1llsen's not been able to even challenge him on it because half the game he's not even had the weapon available to him. Now I think he's got the rail. Things could change up, but that's a freebie for k1llsen in the end. Great shot. Rocket jump into Ghost Walk. k1llsen realizes that's a possibility. He needs to survive a second longer, and he can't do it as the Mega spawns, and he just has to watch it get taken, basically.
A little bit slower of an affair. Holding a nice angle there as he expected the push to come wrapping around. k1llsen's just be full-fronted towards him. Instead, though, he bides his time and gets the pickup.
This is really going to mess with k1llsen's mind as well, because Mega got delayed enormously. Lightning gun, he had range for it for a moment, and has got a heavy machine gun that could work too, but k1llsen's now opting to go down below. And let's see if k1llsen goes up to the Mega now, this could really throw off k1llsen. He's there, there's nothing he can do. He's totally dead. This Mega means nothing, and it's the perforation frag. We do not see many of those, and k1llsen's successful there. I think k1llsen realized he stood on there, he gets the gauntlet. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
It's all gone wrong.
That's definitely one for the fridge, I think. Screenshot that, get that out there, because that is just not acceptable. Yeah. You can't be having that.
k1llsen shouldn't have been making moves like that without information on Mega. A lot of players do, they make guesswork, and they say, okay, if he's picking it up now, then I can go to the item then, and it's going to be fine. He did that, he made the assumption, didn't think that k1llsen was going to delay the Mega health, and you saw how much he paid for it.
Ooh. A big tag coming through. Look at the movement as well to get himself right ahead of him. The predictive play as he slams down once again. I went for the k1llsen Devil's Advocate pick, but it is all coming up k1llsen. He is just proving the level of lethality that this man has. He is an unstoppable force.
This reminds me of the QuakeCon Championship match. I didn't want to say that, but k1llsen's just styling on k1llsen at the moment. 3 in a row. 8-1. And this is hard to come back against. Even with 3.5 minutes left, there's just so little groundwork being made by k1llsen. I don't really know how to advise him. Not that I would, but any ideas? Anyone? Open forum?
How do you beat a man like this? He's literally just towering above the opponent right now when it comes down to it. He just seems to be so strong, so unpredictable, and so elegant in terms of the movement. Right now with the boost coming up, though, to the fight towards him, he is low, but instantly, of course, he gets the trade back onto k1llsen. k1llsen will be able to pick it up to at least grab himself some more health to play with, but of course, the Ghost Walk will save his bacon once more, although they are close by each other here, Zoo.
Oh my god.
It doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter.
It doesn't. It doesn't matter what k1llsen does. Look at that. He's just finding so many rails. I'm so curious at the end of this game what k1llsen's rail accuracy is going to look like. Also, the fight before, just the damage is getting, the insta Ghost Walk to negate anything k1llsen could do. It's honestly been pretty much flawless from k1llsen. I can't really think of any mistakes. I think he made a movement mistake once that accounted to nothing. I can't dig any holes, Jackie. This is impossible.
He's an impenetrable fortress of a man. Everything is just absolutely elegant. He's got style, he's got grace, and he's just got consistently landing rails, apparently.
Yeah, and he's definitely showing how dynamic he can be. He has had to be respectful on occasion when he is truly out of control, but he's just landing everything. Absolutely everything. He's going to play him again, and he just gets the rocket splash to secure his 10th. And this time he's just going to dive on it. He's been playing it from range, and now he's just going to spawn frag. Thank you, please. Over one of at the LG stairs, almost finds it again. k1llsen narrowly evades death. These combos that you can string together if you have control, it's just the possibility if you're able to get yourself in that kind of rhythm. And when k1llsen finds himself victim to that, I mean, it's awfully difficult to get yourself out of it. Oh my god, vertical rocket to rail. This is savagery.
This is just unbelievable. Absolutely just wild in terms of how he's delivering these show-justifying stunts that are basically coming out right now, as he's just going to be spamming down. It's an awkward fight, but it's probably going to go his way, as eventually he'll get the kill coming through. Cooler, we expected to see him maybe being ice cold, but it's k1llsen that's just too hot to handle right now.
You know, this is when I really don't mind watching a thrashing.
No.
Just because you've got these kind of caliber of players, and k1llsen still is able to execute in such a way. You know, this isn't just anybody, this is coollerz. This is second place QuakeCon. Sure, okay, we know what happened to second place QuakeCon, but it's still remarkable.
There's a reason he's as good as they tout him for. He's just so highly skilled. He knows exactly where the fight's coming from. He's going to be able to go for the peek out. That should be the frag coming through. And of course, he does it with style once again, as this should end probably in a 15-1 score line. There's 10 seconds left on the clock, as he's going to try and look to get himself that extra frag to add to his tally. Spots out Cooler, straight in with a round. Surely you're not going to get another one for free. Could it be the LG to close it out? Misses it. 5 seconds left. It doesn't matter what happens here, as he's going to walk away as the victor anyway. He will win it. k1llsen, the Nyx mania there on that opening map. I mean, that was just brutal. We have not seen something to just the wild level of gameplay that we just witnessed there today.
F's in chat for Cooler. 2,000 damage with rail. He kind of didn't really pad the stats even. He was like spamming it at the end. He missed something like 4 or 5 rails in a row, which is totally unacceptable. Can't tolerate that.
No.
But really, yeah, amazing. And I mean, now the likelihood of a 3-0 is actually real.
Oh, yeah.
Unless Cooler can really pick himself up moving into Corrupted Keep, which is going to be our next map. But the thing is, he's playing Anarchy, and I mean, I'm trying very hard to think of how this plays into his favor, but Anarchy's just not a Cooler champion. He could turn around now and just kick k1llsen's ass, but I'm just not seeing it.
It really is just an absolute thrashing that was delivered us to that. And honestly, I don't really know if there is any way you can come back from that, because it's not as if Cooler was just making loads of mistakes. It's just the fact that k1llsen was just on a whole nother planet of just Quake excellence. Some of these, I mean, some of the frags he got, you just don't expect to see, let alone consistently picking them up over and over again.
Well, the thing that coollerz usually really good at doing is sort of denying damage.
Yeah.
He won't necessarily do it to you, but he'll be very tricky to kind of exactly get a hold of. And k1llsen just had angle after angle after angle, and it was just... I mean, I'm slightly disappointed that coollerz he's not really playing slowly. He wants to play a quick game, but that's just not him. It's just not him at all.
And it's just not viable when you've got k1llsen just absolutely giving it like he is right now. I mean, that was just 100% sick gamer right there. Yeah. That's all you can really sum that one up with.
Precisely. And, I mean, for Cooler to pick it up, he needs to slow the game down. That's the only way that he does this. It's not really about whether or not you give up the first frag at all. It's just making sure that the game is only like a 1 or 2 frag game by the 5-6 minute mark. And then go from there. Play patient. Cooler is one of the most patient players that we have, but he's not demonstrating it.
No. And that really is playing towards his deficit as well. So hopefully, if there is an opportunity for him to actually adjust his playstyle, potentially reset, getting back into it, you kind of want to expect to see that now, right? Obviously, you know, I went for the gamble just on the off chance that we might see it come through after the bye week, but it looks like nothing's changed. k1llsen is still the man that we knew he was, and I don't think he's going anywhere soon.
Yeah, I mean, he took a holiday and was chilling a bit. Yeah. I know he came back right after QuakeCon and really excited to stream and say hello to all of his fans, of which he's got many, but he's been super active in the community as well, and he's honestly such a joy to have around. I now see that he'll have more joy because BJ versus Anarchy. I've talked about the Anarchy side, but the BJ side, I think Anarchy's not got a naturally big stack. I think BJ's going to tear him apart.
This is the one that I was kind of wanting, kind of hoping to see, the champ that I wanted to get my solo peepers on, and it looks like he is now in play as we kick it off again, straight into the action. The second match here between k1llsen and Cooler, as he is just going to be lying in wait here. The shotgun across as he hopes to try and land a tag in the early game between these two Goliaths.
just been patience. That's all it's been at the moment. He's going to go in for the Mega Health, which is not quite there yet. Would like the LG, so dual will didn't account for anything, but he just wants to slip away peacefully. And unfortunately for him, he messed up the timing. I think the jump down that Cooler did earlier kind of threw him off a bit or something. Maybe I'm reading into it too much. But Cooler definitely wins the control game at the moment. He might even win the damage game, and he's going to lock down First Blood pretty much for free. Still overstuck at the end, and now he wants to chase the spawn frags.
That movement was very nice, but that was even better. The rocket jump up to put himself back on a pedestal. Let's see if he has a heightened advantage and a big skill ceiling here, as he's going to be rapidly adjusting across the map. The speed coming through right now, this is crazy.
Well, he's got the speed, but he took the scenic route to get back to the heavy armor, and he ends up losing out on it. I mean, I like the fact that he went for the light armor, but then k1llsen's like, oh, you're not there anymore? Well, I'll just go ahead and be there. And honestly, I think that if k1llsen could have picked his fight a little better there, then there was a frag around the corner waiting for him.
Instead, we fall into this position, though. A 2-0 now, as coollerz actually put himself into quite a nice position. The lightning gun's out to play. He's just wrecking his way through k1llsen. The rockets are also going to add some additional splash damage as he switches out and the finish off with an AR.
No, that was really good for weapon usage from Cooler. Perfect with that. Hopefully k1llsen's got... Oh, he's got dual-wield LG, so a little bit of respect needs to be given at the moment, Cooler. He's around the corner. Got that little blockade that he can make, but k1llsen in control.
That's the thing with BJ as well, the sheer rate of how quickly you can actually get up that double lightning gun, because the ability... That was a bit of a weird fight I just saw. I don't know what that was.
I don't know why Cooler walked into that room. The amount of sense it made was equal to none. And k1llsen just rushes him down, because it takes a little bit to build up your movement with Anarchy. It takes a couple of strafes at least. He was just kind of found being very slow. And when you're slow and you're not building up that movement, that's when you're at your weakest.
Yeah, this is worrying as well, because he's actually got it up now as well if he wants to go for the akimbo slaughtering that could come through here potentially. So k1llsen might be able to actually start to unleash against Cooler at this position. He's got the lightning gun in hand. He's got a fair amount of ammo to play with it as well, as he is going to be roaming around. The pre-fire rockets to try and get the tags off across, barely missing at this point as he's building up that stack.
Cooler just backing out, probably a smart move. Just give this room over to k1llsen. But he needs to find some damage from somewhere. Looking for it with the nail gun. k1llsen, I think, comes home scot-free. Lands a rocket. The timing is perfect. And he's just going to move in. Injection's used. But k1llsen, straight away, is tying the game up. Was a great start for Cooler, but he's not taking long to relinquish control.
That one's the roadblock coming through, and now he just starts to build himself a dam as well to stop Cooler getting any further ahead. He wants to have an absolute lead, and this is what I wanted to see. As sparks start to fly, switches out instead to go for the double rocket, but it'll only take one smooth punch straight to the jaw there to take down Cooler.
I can hear exactly where Cooler is. That surfboard makes so much noise. Do you want the light armor? I'm just going to rocket you all the way from it. And now with heavy in a second, k1llsen's not even thinking about that. It's like, how can I make Cooler's life as difficult as possible? Oh, there's still the rocket jump gets used. Okay, fair play to Cooler there, managing to retain some control. He's actually got a chance to challenge with a brilliant direct of his own. And now k1llsen's the one who has to maybe get his tail between his legs and back off.
Spam coming across in a fairly equal trade of damage there. k1llsen having to try and readjust to get some health. He doesn't have a chance. The speed of Cooler will finally come into effect as he hits him hard and fast there with a lightning gun, stunning it in his tracks.
We definitely got our game on our hands though on this one. I mean, I was nervous after the lead was gone from Cooler that he was kind of in a bit of a pit, but he's been doing great damage. However, k1llsen, definitely more stacked than him at the moment, has a mega health to work with. Cooler late on doing damage, but we'll know by the route that he's taken. Probably a very accurate timing of it. Just not even half a second of LG, loses half a stack. And he's going to be caught out again unless he can hit more perfect rockets like that.
He's got the movement to play with now as he's starting to bombard his way around, although he's incredibly low. He could go down if k1llsen just sneezes in his vague direction at this point. Just try and keep him at bay with the rockets, at least in the pre-fire going through to try and thwart him back. Gets a small amount of health to put him back in the game. You do hit a 5-minute 30-second mark. Grabs the light armor just as it comes through. That's going to be the spam down, but that's the kill from k1llsen.
You just have so little mobility again. If you're not moving with the strafe, then you're a sitting duck. Great entry rocket for k1llsen. He wants to finish the job, and coollerz just hiding in the corner, hoping that he'll leave him alone for control again.
Ooh, that was a nice adjustment straight into the fight as well. You love to see it.
And coollerz just getting in the way. It's like he knows these routes are possible. And this for me is why coollerz not the expert of Anarchy. I feel someone like Toxic is very good because he does everything on the fly. Whereas coollerz tries to play Anarchy the way that you'd play a k1llsen almost. That you're kind of holding these strong positions, and you've got some more resources to back you up. But you know, ultimately k1llsen is making the Anarchy pick weak. Oh, that's it. That was the one. That's what I needed.
That right there. That's it, Chief.
And there's going to be Mega. Everything's just coming together for k1llsen. Timing is going to meet him. 100 damage rocket, and that is going to be closing down another.
And this is the fact when you get into a position where you look at the scoreline and go, it's 11-4, already at the 7-minute mark. Is this feasible? Can coollerz actually start to get some kind of outrageous momentum to put him back into the game? It's a struggle from this point forward.
I mean, coollerz can definitely do this, but it's got to be a perfect game now. And he's just totally off with his heavy timing. Mega's up. He's taking a wide strafe. That's enough to give the item away to k1llsen. Stacks have been neutralized. But he needs to have the full control. He needs a heavy, and then he uses injection. Mega really matters a lot less for Anarchy, because you can get that big stack regardless. The thing is, he's been pressured straight away, so now he's used the injection, but all that armor's gone already. He has no overstack anymore. And so the advantages he could have gained have evaporated.
He has no guns and no ammo either, really. 5 rockets left. If he gets himself into a long fight, really, it's going to be so awful for him to actually try and pick up the frag. At least he does get the Mega to play with. Straight in, picks himself up a fresh lightning gun so he can try and serve up some pain. But it doesn't look like his opponent wants to take it. k1llsen straight out of there as he's going to bail through. Gives him an opportunity at least to get some health and some more firepower to play with so he can start to try and pack a punch. As this one carries on, straight back through with a lightning gun. Spots him, knows where he's going to be coming from. Can he get the shot across? No, he can't for the meantime. And so much time is being wasted here, Zoot. And coollerz, it's going to be a struggle to do anything now.
coollerz LG is looking really good, but look at that switch. I mean, coollerz was winning that fight, but then the rocket switch, you're in close range. I'm sorry, but you're done for there. That opening rocket. The thing is, k1llsen still has to be totally switched on at all times going versus the Anarchy, because Anarchy can open up a fight whenever he wants, essentially. But he's doing that excellent. Everything that k1llsen needs to do is being done, and then some.
Playing with the audio there. He's been so good at being able to basically be an effective roadblock, a tank mine to just stop any kind of movement coming around and the speed to be built up by coollerz. He's been doing a very good job of just clamping his wheels straight down. Looks for the trace across with a rocket as well. The predictive pre-fire comes out. A good adjustment there with a lightning gun as well to at least try and slice him up a little bit on the way through. But here's the double play. The Akimbo madness starting to come out. Will we see another frag picked up? Of course we will. The point blank punish there.
Yeah, a little miniature mid-air there just to close it out. Why the hell not? I mean, k1llsen's going absolutely bananas. It's like, are you even going to get the Mega? He does eventually, but that is such a difficult LG angle to play with. It's a lot of people think that if you have high ground of the lightning gun, it's better, but it's not at all. The angles are so difficult to play with. But k1llsen just makes it look so easy.
Especially when it's such a straight, hard angle like that as well. You're looking top down. You're so restricted in actually getting those shots off, but he just doesn't give a damn about it. He's been flawless the entire time tonight. This time 15-5, obviously going 14 before, so he's really looking to try and add to that total frag.
Was it 14 last
I think
one?
it was 14, right?
Yeah. It was a lot. I just knew it was like a big number and a small number.
Yeah. The double gauntlet to try and take us out there. BJ, he definitely didn't disappoint.
No, I mean, that was... Again, a spot-on performance. We've got extra control. We've got 1100 more damage. I mean, coollerz got more health healed, but I mean, he kind of had to because he was just taking that much more damage. He never really kind of got into the swing of things. Good start 3-0, but then it's almost like he started playing defensively, And whereas defensive play with Anarchy is actually still pretty mobile. So to me, Anarchy and coollerz is just not a matchup, not a pairing that should be made. Cooler needs to look at the other champions really to excel the most.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you off the back of that as well. It kind of just didn't fit to how he plays as an individual, and I think if anything, it could have been a slight hindrance, obviously, as well, because he was so susceptible to so many attacks that came through from k1llsen, especially this here with the movement, incredibly executed. He left himself really vulnerable for it, and it just did not work out well at all.
And those little movements, like Cooler going through that corner, and k1llsen on a couple of occasions getting a brilliant opening rocket. That's like a death trap that Cooler really should be avoiding. To me, that feels like a sort of a very simple rocket to walk into, where Cooler is usually 3 steps ahead in terms of expecting it.
Yeah, he literally knows what the play is going to be before I think coollerz even realized what he wanted to go for.
Well, it's almost a weird thing is, it almost feels like Cooler knows what's going to happen as it's about to happen anyway. It's like, oh god, I'm about to get crushed, and then he proceeds to get crushed.
It's that clairvoyance, but there's nothing you can do about it.
It's like the type of clairvoyance you don't really want.
It's not beneficial.
But I wish I could go into these fights being really confident. There's the little mini mid-air.
Yeah. Some of these frags, again, very tasty. This was actually quite a nice fight as well to show that level of control.
It's not something that I think looks as impressive as some of the other frags that we see, but to me, that's it's very difficult to get that degree of accuracy in that angle. So k1llsen looking fine.
Muy bueno.
Yes.
Muy bueno. Very good. But
we've got next Awoken, and I think this is what I said would be coollerz highest chance of taking him out.
Which hopefully provides us with maybe a little bit more of the cooler freestyle coming through. What champions are we going with?
It's going to be Ranger versus Doom. Coollerz on Ranger.
Okay.
And you can do good damage with Ranger. To me, Ranger is such a great all-round champion.
Yes.
He's, in terms of like broadly across all maps, Ranger's my favorite to play. I think he's viable pretty much anywhere. He's got great burst DPS, great mobility, and his passive where you take reduced damage from your own rockets and so on. It just makes him so fun to play with. And I think that coollerz really good with Ranger in his hands, significantly better than with Anarchy. But the thing is, Doom is also hyper-mobile, and it's a little more quiet when he does it with the double jumps and so on. So you've got to be you've got to anticipate a lot of different things, which isn't a problem for Cooler. It's just a case of whether he's actually going to be successful in doing it.
Yeah, especially when you need to be so precise going into that as well. And we've seen that the precision that's been coming through from k1llsen today has just been on like a whole nother level.
Yeah.
It's hard because you're putting yourself at a disadvantage, but I suppose you just are at a disadvantage when you go against Cooler right now, because he really does just look like he's basically come in, he's knocked down everyone that dares to defy him, and he's just shown that he is still at this unprecedented level of excellence inside of Quake.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, I want to say that there's a chance for Cooler to win this, but having witnessed what we just witnessed, it's like I feel like I'm throwing him a bone if I do it, and I don't want to be patronizing. I think that we might get something fairly similar. If anyone remembers the Awoken and k1llsen game from QuakeCon, or even if you remember more recently the Sparty RP on Molten, it's like something like that could happen. Yeah. I don't think it will on this occasion, but I'm expecting at least like 10-3 kind of scoreline. I'm being as specific as that.
Yeah, hopefully so, at least. Because obviously my prediction that I went
closer,
for,
but
completely fresh, that's gone out the window. We'll forget about that one. But it's the fact that I think this could actually be a little bit of a window into it, because they are fairly effectively matched players. Cooler definitely can be effective, but let's
100%.
see as we now delve in. The third and final map this time around. Good luck, have fun. Let's see who is going to be a fragaholic in this one.
Oh my god, is he actually going to get away with this? Because that first fight for k1llsen was shocking. And Cooler is unfortunately not able to punish him. He doesn't have all the weapons that he needs either. And suddenly, although the stack advantage is slightly in coollerz favor, I feel like k1llsen's favored. He's got so many good weapons.
Very slow start play here from k1llsen until he goes in for the rockets down. Although the tag is so effective, Cooler, he's feeding off the back of the hype right now, but he gets turned on completely.
I mean, k1llsen got totally caught by surprise there. But he managed to read the play incredibly well and then adapt immediately. I like what Cooler did, but it's about the execution. Execution is unfortunately not being the strong suit. Not today, at least.
Already with a pre-fire prediction, though, coming around as this man is looking to try and punish k1llsen. hoping to just burn his way through coollerz early on into this one. Gets the spawn just as it comes up, so he has the extra health to play with, the instant reposition as well. Hiding, lurking in the shadows, looking to try and get these high fire rockets off. As here comes another fight through. Close rail, going to be landed down as well. Hopes to try and finish him off as he bounces him off. They're both in close proximity right now, but coollerz, he's got to get out of there.
That was actually good timing for the fight. He managed to walk away with a decent amount of armor, and I liked that timing that he had with the orb, delaying his pickup on the heavy, but still managing to move into the orb. I thought that was quite stylish. But, you know, it's not just about style here. It's about consistency too.
Ooh. Response here from both of them in terms of how elegant they've actually been in landing those lightning gun shots. It's all been very, very pixel perfect from them. Once again, though, this is where we're going to have a bit of a blood war between the two. The feud starts to kick off again. Although, they're actually taking their time on this. It isn't going to be an overcommitment. They're both playing very, very safe.
Yeah, k1llsen really needs to play safe. He's got a 1 frag lead, but as far as he's concerned, it means absolutely nothing. coollerz got control of the map in terms of resources and in terms of position.
Oh, near miss there on the rocket. That would have been a style point rocket.
k1llsen's going to see if he can do anything to defend this mega health, but I think he's just got to relinquish control. He needs to get himself to 100-100. He's managing to find chances to hit rails, but he lands that rail before the mega health picked up. Now he's in danger. coollerz could finish that off, but he's not able to hit what he needs to. Orb goes through, and k1llsen's still managing to find an escape route. Oh god, oh, he pushes him off though. The light still goes to coollerz. Unbelievable that k1llsen's actually still alive, because I think coollerz's been making some really hot reads on him.
This is crazy right now. It's definitely more of a closer affair in terms of the matchup. You can see the skill actually shining through in the way they have actually been approaching this. There's no reason to overcommit into these fights. It's all been incredibly calculated. And once again, k1llsen just waiting, hiding in the wings, using the patience as he's going to sit pretty and hold out to see if coollerz will make a mistake.
Yeah, I believe from QuakeCon this was the closer map they had between them as well, so it makes sense that this is happening now. Patience there from k1llsen. Oh, he's got to watch out because coollerz's been committing to a lot of orbs. And that's all good. Oh, direct rocket. We're going with the LG. He's actually committing to this. His lightning gun is so damn strong, but it was that mega pickup which allowed coollerz to win that fight.
It's so convenient there to put it back in the game at that point, although the frustration that is going to build up for k1llsen is only going to work to fuel his anger as the response comes back in. A beautiful rail response with a rocket as well, although one of them will be blocked. He'll try and use his lightning gun instead to show that he can still soar high into this one. Rockets down, and another frag up as the railgun will land gracefully. Ooh, almost off the back of the spawn as well.
He wants to try and find it again. coollerz giving a lot of respect and actually not floating towards the mega. Should have been a follow-up. Won't be on this occasion, but it's all good for him as he can just back away steadily and loom over this heavy. I think coollerz's been giving off a lot of tells now that he wants to go through orbs. He's got to be careful that he doesn't do this too much, otherwise you can see he actually does it. It almost catches k1llsen off guard while he was still attentive to it. You can see how tricky coollerz is with it. But k1llsen's just favored anyway, just stack-wise and combat-wise.
5 minutes now on the clock as we're at the halfway point for k1llsen. Definitely not showing any signs of slowing down, although he will wait out here. He knows that he can use this high ground to a major advantage. coollerz, he's been offering himself up, essentially a sacrifice in quite a few of these fights, but this time he's the one that's getting the advantage. More damage distributed early on to at least try and force k1llsen back.
Just that patience gives him a nice rocket to rail combo, and all of a sudden all that stack you had, it's gone. Does manage to get himself the mega health though. k1llsen didn't look for a full fight on that.
Just trying to get the angle off. I mean, that is a wild rail to actually hit, and it looks like he's trying to add so more. He was given the opportunity to, but he actually misses one for once.
It was a bounce pad rail. Those are the worst ones to miss. It's a feel-bad moment. Good LG from coollerz. He needs to keep on piling on pressure. k1llsen's just being... just very disciplined again. No overcommitments from him. And any minor mistake there, if he is making it, he's managing to reduce the effectiveness it has in favor of Cooler.
Through the hole in the wall. Trying to put the punish onto him as the spawn will come up to add towards that total stack and put him into an even better position. Nearly missing there with the shots that go through, hoping to cast out that fishing rod and do an awful lot of damage as he does keep himself on the move.
Oh, good shot. Cooler needs a couple more of those. Oh! For every rail that Cooler's got, k1llsen's got one. Oh my god, he might have a little bit more this time. On this occasion, there is no orb port through. Plenty of weapons to work with. k1llsen just sticks with the rail for a second, but he needs to fight this. This is his mega health, and coollerz should not be here. Not at all. 5-1 all of a sudden. And now coollerz has to go back on the scavenge to get the weapons and try and get back in control. Limited amount of time left. This is hard work.
This really is. This is going to be such a struggle fest for him going forward, as there really isn't much time. He wants to just walk away out the door with all those additional points and take it as a free. Oh, he's still hitting sickening rails as well. So he is just not done. He physically won't stop, Zoot.
The rails he's hitting are insane. And another caught over by the light armor. coollerz drops once again, and the control is only getting steeper in favor of k1llsen. Oh, he can't stay onto the platform. That's going to give away the mega health. Oh, it's not. coollerz doesn't even want to challenge for that because he feels so defeated elsewhere.
Oh, the close range combat. They're locked so close together. It looked like he was almost actually going to be able to throw in there and get the advantage. The pre-fire spam coming out as well as he was ready for that one. Poised in position. Grab some additional stack as he's going to bail his way straight out of there. coollerz. He's only got one frag still. k1llsen. He has 7. The thing is, the overall tally we have right now actually doesn't cut as clear a picture as this game has been. It's been so close in a lot of the fights we've had.
It really has been. But I feel like it's been almost engineered that way by k1llsen. There's something just very special about how k1llsen's playing at the moment that is just so nice to see. I mean, he's considering every single little factor that's possible. Anything that coollerz can throw at him, he knows. And I think it's those mind games that coollerz so well known for playing. He's just not playing him in the same way at the moment. He's losing that psychological game, which is usually his X factor. He gets a frag here, but you need 5 more in 1 minute and 10. This is really hard work for coollerz.
Unless you're the Flash, you're just not going to be able to do it. And the only one that is just breezing ahead right now is k1llsen. All he's got to do is delay, waste time, tiptoe around and not really overcommit into these fights. coollerz, however, has to do the exact opposite. And surely it's just not possible. He's landing the shots at least. He's burning his way through the health on k1llsen. But he's just going to be able to run away. He's going to consistently get out of there.
Okay, we at least get to see some coollerz point of view for a short while. He's still gunning for him. A couple of frags will make him feel better, but unfortunately, it won't steepen the blow at all. Got a late pickup on heavy. He should get himself the kill, but he's got no way to continue momentum at all. Maybe get a frag here. We haven't seen that many spawn frags at all on this map, actually, on this particular occasion. But that's it. k1llsen's got himself 8 points. His first game online in the Quake Pro League. Oh, he will get set off at the back end. But that is 7-4. The closest map between these 3, but still a loss for coollerz.
That is pretty just mental when you think about it. The fact that he's been able to come in literally off the back of the bye week and just show that nothing has changed. He is still unbelievably sick in terms of his individual strength, just ruining face. And it's not as if that was a super one-sided matchup either as well. Those are 2 incredibly phenomenal players.
Yes. These are the 2 that are the top Europeans in the global leaderboards, and coollerz got swept completely, and it was very reminiscent of QuakeCon. I mean, actually, way too reminiscent. It's actually scary. I think we just saw exactly the same game.
Which, when you think about it like that, it is mind-blowing that it's still able to go down to a T in a very similar style, and just how effective k1llsen is right now. In terms of aim, it looks like that holiday, if anything, has done wonders for him. He's recharged, his batteries are at maximum, and he's come back in just living the dream.
I mean, k1llsen's someone who knows exactly how to grind, and if he can manage to keep his energy levels up, and as you say, make sure it's easy to burn out if you don't think about it at all. I mean, he can build this full momentum. I was saying earlier, this could be a k1llsen era. If he can do it again in Italy, this would be amazing. I would love to be witness to k1llsen kicking ass that consistently.
Yeah, well, he's definitely done just that. He came here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and he's all out of bubblegum zoo, and that was why he kicked some ass.
This is true. Ask him.
Factually accurate, of course. But yeah, really a showstopper of a game. Definitely what we were hoping for. Obviously, getting into that one, I feel like we couldn't have asked for much more out of what we were given.
3 3-0s though on the European side.
Yes.
That's. I mean, I think I expected some today, but 3 of them, man, that's steep. So 3 people getting a lot of points to add up. That is going to shake up the leaderboards a huge amount. And all of a sudden, I mean, for Cooler, I think this is okay. You're going against literally the #1 player ranked at the moment. It's fine to lose this one, but you've got to deliver better against the rest of the competition now, because otherwise the pressure starts getting. Because this is last 2 games in competition was this one and the championship final. They've both been versus k1llsen. If this starts to become a thing versus others, and there's no proof yet that will be the case, then that's when I start getting worried.
But as theory crafting goes, that's one where it's like potentially there is a timeline where that could actually have some weight to it. So it's interesting, yeah.
I would be. He will never go for relegation at all, but he needs to step up to give himself I think we've got leaderboards ready now to help that. He needs to keep it stepped up so that he has that chance for at least a top 2 straight to quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Luka Comic and Games. Oh, I've heard that. Well, we both heard that ahead of the leaderboards we see, we might be getting ourselves a little interview.
Potentially so. So we'll see if we can actually get that on the line, of course, and have a word with currently the man that seems to be the most depth-defying man in Quake.
Yes. Have you got anything that you want to line up for him? I think I just want to sort of point out a comparison of QuakeCon.
I think that's kind of really the overall what's on the tips of our tongues,
so
right?
I'm not really sure what else. Like, we'll figure something out. It's our bloody jobs, okay?
We'll make it work. We do.
Yeah,
we do.
But it just feels like it was really a formality to some degree.
Yeah, I mean, he went back in there. He looked as good as he does. Literally, you know, it's the fact that he does just seem like this is second nature to him at this point, right? It's water off a duck's back. It doesn't affect him. He looks so composed the entire time. But the fact that it was so similar, and there really hasn't been much of a change in terms of the fact that he still looks like he's absolutely unreal in terms of endurability. How is he feeling more so for me? Like, you know, is this one where the hype off the back of QuakeCon has now put him into a whole upper echelon? And I guess we'll find out. It looks like we do have that interview now ready. There he is,
hey.
The man, the myth, the legend. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm feeling good again. Chat didn't let me down, and they focused hard enough. I did, so we made it once again.
So, I mean, I will ask the obvious: why did QuakeCon final happen twice?
I mean, I don't know. Can't really tell. We just, we had the best stats in the end, so we had like the first week off. We had to repeat at some point. Anyways.
True. I mean, we've had a lot of fun games from you guys, but you've been very consistent on many of the maps. But Awoken, I feel like, is one of the closer ones. Is there a kind of reason why you can't run ahead like you normally do on that map? Is that maybe a weakness of yours or a strength of coollerz?
I think it's some of both actually. He knows how to avoid being spawn fragged. Any of the top 3 to top 5 players should be able to avoid these immediately spawn. Just delay the spawn a couple of seconds helps already, and also you can always dodge to the side still. So when you are the guy fragging your opponent and waiting for the respawn, you always start to aim right at the respawn point. So if you move a little bit to the side right of the nothing is going to happen there. And he's always aware of that. So that gives him kind of a bonus, keeping things close, but also the way he's playing that map. Like, patient, and he knows where he's like able to die, and these moments also when he does like tons of damage, you also always got to be aware of not getting killed after he resets. So that's also a thing there.
For me as well, I'm just curious of like what are sort of going on right now, obviously, k1llsen, in terms of you now getting back home and basically, I assume this is sort of going to be the grind, right, to try and see how far you can go with this, because you're looking unstoppable, but what more can we see added to your arsenal? Is there any little nuances you're working towards, that little smirk there?
I mean, yeah, of course. You never stop learning, and there's still room to improve. I mean, I died a couple of times, so of course we can already tell there's room to. But it's you gotta keep working. It doesn't matter what your number before the name is. You gotta keep working to defend and to attack again.
Were you surprised at all by coollerz champion pick on Corrupted Keep? Because I was a little critical of him and Anarchy as a pairing. Do you agree, or was there something else?
Yeah, a little bit. We also saw that he's able to dodge really well with Anarchy. Like once I didn't do, I think I hit one machine gun shot or something, and he just ran away, completely wrecking me there. So he has his moments, I'd say, but yeah, overall, Anarchy's more of an aim-based champion, and he's just known for having this crazy good. His aim always been very good, no doubt about that, but just this constant good, not something super special and that makes it kind of tricky for him to really adjust his game plan to Anarchy. So yeah, I knew I have a little upside, but you got to be careful against Anarchy on Corrupted Keep. If you get killed and you do a lot of damage, it most likely doesn't matter because he can run really quick to HP bubbles again and reset. So I really had to be careful about that.
I know we've got to wrap this up soon, so I've got one last question, and it's just about what's happening later on today. There's a very interesting match happening at the end with nosfer and Rafa. People have been hyping it. I just wanted to get your thoughts on it.
Oh man, actually, I'm also really hyped to see that. If nosfer can, keep his shape right now. I mean, I think in the end, Sajib was making things a little too easy, not expecting to get hit so much by nosfer. So Rafa will be careful about that. So things gonna be a lot different. But if he keeps landing his peak rates, which been really good against Sajib, I can see a challenge for Rafa there. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's curious stuff. Thank you so much, though, k1llsen. Obviously, a pleasure. It's never a chore. It's always wonderful to speak to you. A beautiful win there coming through with another 3-0 today. Yeah. We wish you all the best. Thank you so much for popping on.
Thank you very much. And thank you guys for supporting, watching.
Hey. He's a good lad. He's a good-looking gamer as well.
Absolutely. I was so curious about the nosfer Rafa thing at the end because is it? I was wondering. Oh no, Rafa is going to totally stomp him, but actually he feels that there's some hype in the air. Yeah. That excites me.
I think everyone should be excited because, of course, when we flip over and we move over to that North American portion of the show, I think that's where things are going to get a little bit more wild, honestly.
Completely. And I don't want to romanticize the game too much, but there's really some drive and fury in nosfer, and this guy is something special to watch at the moment, and because it's so fresh in the scene, even though he's been playing Quake for a fair amount of time, now he's getting that exposure that he's been looking for on the international circuit, and we get to see a totally new, unique style playing at the highest levels. It's going to be a big game later day. Make sure you do not miss that.
Yeah, well, if you are excited off the back of what Zoot just typed up there, because you will not want to miss it, you are definitely going to want to tune back in when we kick off our North American portion of the broadcast, of course, once we come back. For now, though, we are done with EU, and we'll be taking a step back to recharge ourselves after that depth-defying day of outrageous frags before we come back in for the North American scene.